68, and this is of the variation. When we come to the variation of the kind of change which is not official, there's a figure of 2018. The variation was of 8,700 and 8 point, well, it related to the last year, 91. So these are good numbers, good figures. There's a variation, but we have to say it. There's a big demand of foreign currencies because growth requires more foreign currencies, and so we see it comparing imports of foreign currencies, and so the blockade continues to restrict the access to foreign currencies. Even the channels of the private bank are not enough. So then it is a predicament stemming from the economic worth in the situation of the criminal blockade against the country, and so we have to mull over the use of foreign currencies. And so I provide you an example. There's a shortage of foreign currencies that when we come to the party, well, yes, because the use of foreign currencies for a kind of exports, it's being dealt in an advance at a fast way, and so the biggest quantity of these foreign currencies are provided by these companies, and the state provides 41% of the foreign currencies. And so we must be concerned of how we use these foreign currencies in the imports. And so the Ministry of Economy has been reviewing that. We all have to take care of currencies because there cannot be cheap currencies for. And so this is happening. So the economic dialogue has to be held, and so we must think over and over again and over. And so this has been the variation regarding the official rate change. And so we're working with circumstantial measures, with temporary actions. So we have to. This is like a surgical operation to reduce the gap, because this gap generates all kinds of distortions. Then there comes the ones who wants to take advantage of this situation. And so that price that you see on the websites is not the official price, but there's a political leverage, and then there's the economic, the financial leverage that they make profits of that gap. And all of them, we see how they make profits on those activities, and that happened with assisted produce of medicines. If you recall those years of 2015, 2016, there was a lot of smuggling towards neighboring countries, towards the Caribbean. And so we are right now at this growing economic growth, a high demand of currencies, of fuel, of gas, of water, of electricity, of public services, because they were harshly affected for two reasons. For the blockade, all our power grid and all our water system is attached to Western technology. So these Western countries are the ones who decided to attack Venezuela, and so then we cannot get supplies of devices due to the blockade, and so we are unable to get supplies from it, and so it was affected the public services. So public services, mainly the electrical system there was affected by the far right wing and all those sabotages that we have gone through, and so we must set apart from that far right wing. That's not the path for Venezuela. So the path for Venezuela is to continue to recover the oil industry sustainably. And so it is more important. It's very important to sustain that recovery, to bring that gradual and sustained recovery, receiving international investments. And the president has called on the chambers to have as national investments those Venezuelan entrepreneurs that can join the oil industry, in petrochemical industry. It is not only the international investment. Would you like to invest in this sector? Because we said to the leaders of the chambers, to the head of the chambers, haven't you shared that? Well, it was a secret, pardon me. But the president has urged you, has invited the Venezuelan entrepreneurs to arrange to be organized, and let's do a road show. Let's conduct a road show with businesses and with groups and invest. This is a great business. I tell you, as a minister of oil, it's a very good deal, a good business, and Venezuela has secured a market from here to another century. So all that history that it was a fossil that for 2050, it is allied. So the required investments weren't made. So they continue to be dependent on fossil energy, but Venezuela is on the right place. So it is an extraordinary business. So I take advantage of this assembly to ratify the invitation of President for you to join the investment for the oil, gas, petrochemical sectors. And so the petrochemical sectors in the next 9 years, the market would grow 72%. So that's money for certainty. It is crystal clear. So invest, participate. It is a clear invitation to the Venezuelan entrepreneurs. So it has to do with the voluntary declaration. The growth has been 9.8 of growth related to the last year. So the investments are allocated to assist the fundamental needs of the population, education, health, and incomes of workers. And so we've got some differences in which what Adams imposed of not future for the workers, but differences. We talk about differences and we discuss on differences. We cannot let workers aside by themselves. So that's our structure. We care for workers, and so we cannot eliminate workers' future, and the future is important because we are working for the future of all Venezuelans, women and men. And so then that you've got the figure about the shortages of supply and all these differences. We have always these differences, but we discuss them. And so these shortages of supplies, so I told you that we must think about the use of foreign currencies, and so you must be concerned about it because we all contributed to the rate exchange, and then when the inflation in 2024,
which is important. And when we analyze the inflation of September, it's the lowest since 1889. Even when it was measured in Caracas, it's the lowest, in an effort of all of us to guarantee that inflation doesn't consume the income of our workers, because it's a terrible way to destroy incomes of our workers. And then when we talk about defeating hyperinflation, it's because we did it. We always talk about this number in February 2019 when inflation reached 344,510, a number I don't forget. And today, annual inflation reaches 25.7%. It has been a long way and a great effort that we have carried out, all of us. You, with your effort, and don't allow this to defeat you, and the president and his team with the policies so that the expansion of economy can take place. I spent time analyzing which policies can help sectors and economical activity in general. We are always talking about this with the media. This year, President eliminated IGTF and our currency. And that represents the equivalent to $600 million. Great amount of money. But President always thinking in how keep helping. And then we see the benefit of agricultural industry since the point of view of finances. There are strong numbers there of how there is a precedent supporting productive sectors in our country, helping and boosting, and how at the same time carrying out social justice in what we have called virtuous circuit, because for us, carry out justice with the workers of our country and our retirees, it's a way to bring happiness and well-being to the people. But for you, it also means boosting the demand of goods that you produce. We have been talking about the virtual circuit, increase the wages and incomes, best demand of goods and services, and we are going to guarantee growth with balance, which is the most important. The growth should happen with a balance. I studied in a school of nuns, and nuns always told me, it's okay, you study a lot, but the brain cannot be bigger than our body. I was not good in physical education. There must be a balance. Body must develop in a balance, and this should be applied also to economy. It should develop in a balance, and the fundamental balance is social balance, social peace of our population, of our people. They must have what they deserve, and there, without a doubt, the criminal blockade has created social wounds in the health sector, where we have been recovering, in food supply. The figures of consumption of protein is not the same today as 5-6 years before, luckily. And that is positive fact for you to guarantee a population that have access to goods and services that are produced in our country. Credit has increased also in a very important way. Its growth in the last 12 months of 105%. And we have also carried out a process of democratization of credit with a public bank and public funds, where we have helped almost 900,000 people through financing procedures and other kinds. So I'm going to close as I started. We are in an extraordinary moment of growth and expansion of the productive capacities and economic capacities of Venezuela, and that supposes an extraordinary effort so that we resolve what it means, challenges that come from growth. We are knowing today that growth also brings up important challenges that we are going to solve only through national union and consensus we have been building, and I thank you the invitation you have and bring in the greetings and the word of President Nicolas Maduro of hope and optimism so we can continue to move on together and think in Venezuela 2040, 2050, energetic leader in the new world. Thank you very much.
República, doctora Delcy Rodriguez, quien reconoció el compromiso del sector empresarial privado del país en la recuperación de la economía de la nación en medio de un escenario de bloqueo y la imposición de más de 940 medidas coercitivas unilaterales.
We were live to Venezuela listening to Executive Vice President Delcy Rodriguez during a meeting with Fedecamaras businessmen and women. In her remarks, the also Minister of Oil assured that a dialogue in economic issues is needed and is a priority for the country to move forward and also to undertake concrete actions to eliminate inequality gaps. Venezuela is in a process of economic update and it demands currencies, fuel, investments and other goods to warranty the success of this process, she assured, and also concluded that the country is working to build the future of the present generations and those to come. This is all for the moment. Stay tuned with From the South.